History is often served to us as a long list of dates, wars, treaties, and empires, usually followed by the advice to memorize them for the exam. But history isn't just what happened on a battlefield or in a palace. History is also lived in quiet decisions, awkward compromises, moments of courage, and sometimes sheer survival. That's why African History Briefs is launching a new series called African Biographies, a space dedicated to telling African history through the lives of African people. This series is not just about celebrating so-called great men and women or turning people into marble statues. Instead, we're asking a simple but powerful question. How did the world someone was born into shape who they became? And how did they, in turn, shape that world? Why biographies? And why now? African history is often presented in fragments. A kingdom here, a war there, a colonial policy, a date end of story. Biographies allow us to stitch those fragments together. Through individual lives, we can see how big historical forces, slavery, empire, religion, colonialism, gender norms, capitalism, and resistance were experienced by real people with real constraints. In African biographies, we'll explore rulers and rebels, thinkers and writers, missionaries and mystics, women and men shaped by the transatlantic slave trade, Islamic and Christian reform movements, European imperial expansion, colonial rule and anti-colonial resistance, Cold War politics, and post-colonial struggles for dignity and self-definition. These are not isolated stories. They are windows into African societies at moments of deep transformation. What to expect? Each biography will place its subject firmly in context. We'll ask, what political and global forces shaped their life? What choices were open and which were completely closed? How did race, gender, religion, class, or empire limit or empower them? And why does this life still matter today? You'll meet enslaved Africans who became abolitionist voices, queens navigating diplomacy in an age of empire, religious reformers confronting inequality, writers who challenged colonial narratives, and revolutionaries shaped by Cold War pressures. Some names you'll recognize, others you won't. All are deeply historical. At African History Briefs, we believe African history deserves to be told with care, depth, and humanity. Biographies help us resist flat stories and easy labels. They remind us that Africans were never passive spectators of history, but active thinkers, negotiators, and survivors in difficult worlds. So join us. African Biographies begins soon, because sometimes the best way to understand history isn't to start with an empire, but with a single life, lived fully, constrained deeply, and remembered meaningfully.